How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty. We should be live on multiple platforms today. Actually, we're live on Rumble. We're on 1 second. All right. Okay. So yes, we are actually live on Rumble. Good deal. Had a bit of a. I don't know if you guys heard the extra audio there, but yes, we are actually live on Rumble. So, and I got the paid version of Reeb Stream. So we're all over the damn interwebs now. Pretty good shit, man. But anyway. How you doing on this good old Friday there, old man?
Doing damn well, man. Kicking back, watching the crumbling of Western civilization, man. What about yourself?
All right. Yeah, living history, man. Living through fucking key human existence right now. And it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Definitely a crazy times we're living in, man. It's the tension, it's palpable in the air, just going around, doing my day-to-day job and stuff like that. I mean, just just about everyone you talk to, you could generally kind of I know you're not supposed to judge books by their cover, but you could generally kind of tell a old school fucking leftist fucking liberal by based off of their looks and their mannerisms and stuff like that, and even they're uh, aware that things are definitely not right here in America. So we got a couple things we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about a Salon.com article that came out yesterday, basically saying that MAGA is a bigger threat than Hamas, even than fucking Islamic fucking terrorisms, right? Fucking absolute ridiculous fucking clown show type, propaganda. I mean, that's pretty much been their entire fucking game the entire time is propaganda. But yeah, crazy ass shit. We also got the 2024 election heats up as Mike Pence and probably more others end up dropping out here, and basically it's becoming very, very apparent that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nomination. All right, of course, provided shenanigans don't go on, the whole lawfare thing that we have going on here in America right now. But hopefully, he should be the nomination with the way everything's going in polling and stuff right now. But we also have, again, fair thing. We have states trying to keep him off the ballot, and we also have, in other states, election fraud on the Democrats being presented. Basically, a landmark ruling out of Connecticut where a judge overturns the results of a primary election based on what? None other than clear and apparent voter fraud. Right? So definitely, setting some legal precedent, not just in Connecticut, but abroad. We also have, other Democrat cases being brought up on fraud in other places. Was it the article you sent me? I think it was Pennsylvania? New Jersey.
Yep.
Yep. So just the cards are the house of cards are starting to crumble for them. When it comes to the whole ballot harvesting, ballot stuffing, and the absentee ballot, basically everything that we've all been saying about the whole mail-in voting and all that type of stuff. It's basically coming to the forefront right now, and basically stuff's actually happening from it. Right? And then we're also just going to be kind of talking about the possible future of where America's going to go. Basically I just kind of want to touch on an idea of basically revolution and how it's historically kind of a young man's game, and at the same time how either way we have to think about if there is a right-wing wave coming through, what's this next generation of right-wing populism going to look like, right? But let's go ahead and start off with this Salon.com article. Really, man, we're the biggest threat to mankind, even worse than fucking Islamic terrorisms, man. That's some crazy shit. What do you think about that?
I think we're getting some cracks and hum bars in the sound right now. I don't know if everybody else is hearing it, but I'm hearing it. But dude, it's hard to really tell, man. It's almost a joke. You see when as Biden was coming into office, it was white supremacy's the greatest threat fucking facing mankind's. But with the fact that they've realized that MAGA now is beyond Trumpsicles and small town white breads, that there's actually Latinos for Trump, Mexicans for Trump, blacks for Trump, so on and so forth. They've had to create that new homegrown terrorist standard, just encompassing MAGA as a whole.
Yep. I mean, really, like you said, it's not necessarily a whole Trump thing. It's a movement, and that's why they're going after the entire movement as basically being an extremism thing, right? They've already been well into doing their whole character assassination on Trump, and now they're basically trying to do their propaganda on the opposing party and basically try and paint this out to be extremes. And it's just, I don't know, it's hilarious how they I mean, if you just look at it in the basic sense, the government of the United States right now is saying that the people that literally their entire mind frame, their entire worldview, their entire ideology is based off of destroying the fucking Jews and destroying Western society. And not only that, they've also came out just today and basically said that that they're going to escalate things if the Jews continue to, or if Israel continues to escalate things in Gaza, and that basically the United States has some shit coming to them, right? So those people are not the biggest threat. The biggest threat is the people that are waving around fucking American flag, basically trying to fucking say keep these people out of our country, fucking basically the people saying America first. That's the biggest threat to America, not the people saying death to America. The people saying America first is the biggest threat to America. It's absolute fucking clown world ridiculousness, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially, you got the weakest among us trying to align themselves with people that are synonymous for cutting people's heads off. You know what I'm saying? You got the weak-wristed class cheering on a crowd that will literally throw them off of buildings just for existing. You know what I mean? These people are beyond useful idiots at this point. They're just flat-out idiots, and are willing to destroy Western civilization so they can grandstand on the fucking ashes.
All right. Yeah, like we say all the time, man. The old Sun Tzu quote. Truly evil man would burn down his entire nation, or would burn down his empire so that he may continue to reign over the ashes. That's fully what we're seeing right now. And the people that are trying to save it are basically the ones that are being painted as the bad guys. But
yeah, at this point, one of the worst aspects of the situation is it's not just the people that lead that's willing to burn down to reign over the ashes. It's the damn it's the trees in the forest that are willing to burn themselves to the ground just so they can feel morally superior.
Yeah. I mean that it really is the reality of it. Like all these people that are all pro America, or these people that are pro Palestine here in America, like as they said, they're not just going after the Jews or the Israelites. They're going after basically Western civilization altogether. That includes you guys, right? A lot of these people, especially, it's hilarious just seeing the lefties out there protesting about how they want to get rid of free speech. Like it's completely fucking oxymoronic, retardation, and it really just points out the fact that I mean, it really just points out how stupid. Again, this is the only place that they're capable of doing that. They can't do this type of stuff in other countries. What was it? Iran just the other day actually just sentenced a woman to 13 years in prison for protesting the government murdering her son. Like her son, I forget what her son did. It was basically her son was like protesting the government, and the government basically killed him. And so she went and protested, basically, demanding justice for her son and shit like that. And they instead locked her up for fucking 13 years. Like, again, the Western civilization, Western society is the only place where these types of, I guess, idiots are able to breed and grow and fester and, become what the modern left has become, And it's just hilarious just watching them talk about, we need to destroy the system. We need destroy free speech. Like it's complete brainwashed fucking morons.
Yeah, and especially that's information at your fingertips, right? I mean, Hamas has a social media presence. They put out these videos and they literally tailor them to appeal to the leftist fucking mind virus, like mentioning George Floyd and whatnot, right? But then they release videos to their Muslim brothers, and it's, well, we got to wipe Jerusalem or Israel off the map. You know what I mean? Just propagating, killing millions of people. Well, I mean, everybody says that, right? Especially, the pro-Israel crowd. They're talking about, genocide, but at the same time, I mean, and again, I'm not siding with Hamas in this. Obviously, I side with America, but just because they're telling you they want you out of Israel, right? They want to get rid of Israel doesn't actually mean killing everybody. That just means exactly how Israel's doing to, quote unquote Palestinians. You're refugees now. They want the same thing. But either way, we're talking about again an evil entity that's been known for barbaric acts for fucking 2,000 years, man.
Right. Yeah. Fucking I don't know. Who do you think fucking the Islamists hate more, fucking the Jews or the gays?
I'd say the Jews. I'd say the Jews is like a blood feud. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's something that's been rolling for quite some time.
All right. Queers for Palestine is definitely next on their list, though. Yeah. Yeah. So, what was it? Fucking the old I forget who it was. I think it was either the FBI or fucking the Department of Homeland Security, basically fucking revising their statement on terrorist attacks and stuff here in the United States. Now, I remember right after October 7th, they basically said, "Oh no, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to be afraid of. Our border's secure. We have nothing to worry about." Now they're basically doing a whole backpedal on the possible terror threats and stuff, and not to mention the countless gotaways and stuff that we don't know about. And not only that, there's just tons of people that we have actually caught that are actually on the terror watch list, right? Like, and I think I saw a news article the other day. I didn't actually read it, but I saw the headline basically saying that I forget where the fuck the person was from, but they caught like one of a foreign fucking African nation's like most wanted fucking criminal living in fucking New York, like that just came through the fucking southern. Like
and they recently just started catching people with explosives, homemade terroristic type explosives, like the size of cannonballs. They were saying we're talking over 20,000 Chinese nationals just this fiscal year, over 600,000 fucking gotaways, and now Venezuelans has surpassed Mexicans as far as border crossers. And you even have Mexicans illegals in Chicago, New York, protesting, saying that they don't want Venezuelans, man. Right? That's fucking hilarious.
Yep. So I can so let's check out this salon.com article real quick. Yeah. See it on the screen with us. Hey, there we go. All right, so the world inches closer to a war that only psychopaths want to see. Right, that's the opening line to this whole thing. And the funny thing is, the left is the people that are pushing war in all of this. The people that only want to see fucking the world, devolve into fucking a global war is the people on the left, right? Fucking Joe Biden, fucking the Biden administration in general. That's they're
scroll up or down.
More than happy
in the middle of the page, bro. It just shows the share options and shit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But let's see. So the world is close to war that only psychopaths want to see. On Tuesday, the FBI issued a warning that the chances of a staged terrorist attack in the United States has grown since the war began in Gaza. In the White House briefing later that day, Fox News reporter Peter Doocy asked National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, quote, "Has the White House considered the possibility that a terrorist could be in the country right now after crossing the southern border?" Obviously, they have, or the FBI wouldn't have issued the warning. The question remains, however, what our government response would be to such an attack. That has already been discussed at the highest levels in our government, and the public has a right to know what the reaction would be. So, although I I wasn't called on. Kirby left the stage. I interrupted to ask the only question I thought mattered. John, wait a minute. Before you leave, if Hamas terrorists attack the United States, would the U.S. put boots on the ground in the Middle East? Kirby stops his retreat from the stage, and Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre let him answer. Kirby was succinct. I won't speculate about that, Brian. We'll obviously do what we have to do to protect our troops and people. This is really just a lot of a gobbledygook bullshit. But see, on the same day, Senator Leader Chuck Schumer showed up at the White House with a bipartisan group of senators, Todd Young, Mike Rounds, and Martin Heinrich. Sorry. To talk to President Biden and help steer a congressional response to the threat posed by Skynet. Sorry, I mean AI. Right? See what they did there? It's a bipartisan effort, but there are both Republicans and Democrats who remain opposed. Bipartisanship, once seen as a laudable goal, dude, where the fuck did they actually get to the point of this? So most Republicans are so dismayed at the prospect of working with Democrats, blah, blah, blah. See, no Americans are getting killed in Ukraine, McConnell said. We're rebuilding our industrial base. The Ukrainians are destroying the army. One of our biggest rivals. Yeah, just so you guys know, I didn't read this article beforehand. I've just looked it up right before just because everyone's kind of talking about it today. So no Americans are getting killed in Ukraine. McConnell said, we're building our industrial base. The Ukrainians are destroying the army. One of our biggest rivals. I have a hard time finding a few Democrats. Let's just find where it says something about MAGAs. See, in the House, those would likely include newly minted House Speaker Mike Johnson. And that sounds like a Bart Simpson prank call to Mose Barr, who took on McConnell directly, pushing to unlink aid to Israel from aid to Ukraine, while the world burns Johnson and the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, which seems to have swallowed the evangelical movement while also embracing it. A T-1000 morphing into Sarah Connor is also just constantly keep going with the Terminator references here, but is embracing the darkest verses of the Bible, apparently pushing for apocalypse with an enthusiasm only rivaled by Saul's slaughter of Christians before he changed his name to Paul. I'm waiting for Mel Brooks to break out into song. Let all those who wish to confess their evil ways and accept and embrace the true church convert now or forever burn in hell, for now begins the Inquisition. The House of Representatives, now run by Johnson, offers a discount version of the apocalyptic orgasm the holy rollers dreamed of for years. They've renewed the Inquisition and seem determined to convert the U.S. into a theocracy run by people who will thump you with the Bible, but haven't read much of it. Lord, how they love to preach fire and brimstone, but the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes, forget it. Matthew 25:40. Quote, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Not a chance. They've embraced the Old Testament, angry God, and the apocalyptic parts of Revelation brought on by ergot poisoning. Those don't know, ergot poisoning is basically the early forms of acid. That's the precursor chemical of acid. It's a mold that grows on mold that grows on rye grains. Actually, that's for those that don't know, that's where acid is derived from. All right. So they want no separation of church and state. They want an isolationist country surrounded by walls and dedicated to the proposition that the First Amendment guarantees them the right to worship any way they want while forcing the rest of us to worship the way they choose. All right. So, I mean, this is all right. So it's a pretty good couple of paragraphs right here. Let's go ahead and I guess kind of break some of it down. Right. So they're basically trying to say that we are trying to push for the apocalypse, or we're trying to push for fucking revelations and stuff like that because we want to, I guess, like fulfill some sort of fucking biblical prophecy. And yeah, fucking absolutely ridiculous shit. And the funny thing is too, just again to kind of go back to the whole Israel Hamas thing. Those people are fucking theocrats. That is a theocratic society. I mean, I don't know. The whole fucking it's they're completely fucking hypocritical, just oxymoronic. They contradict themselves constantly. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean that's what they do, dude. That's the fucking the leftist paradigm, man.
Yep. Yeah, fucking. I don't know. Obviously, when it comes to my religious views and stuff like that, I don't believe in a sort of a physical God per se, and I definitely don't believe in church, right? But I do believe that
Right.
the Bible is a book that has a lot of profound wisdom, and I do believe that it is a book of wisdom that has been gathered over a long amount of time. And basically, what it does is it basically describes the rise and fall of the inevitable rise and falls of civilization, along with basically Revelations describes a lot of that, but a lot of the you know majority of it is about morality and stuff like that. But uh, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but essentially, the whole idea of the Bible was basically a kind of guideline to humanity, right? It's kind of like a guidebook to humanity, I guess. And so basically the fact that it has a book of Revelations, which does kind of point out in I guess sort of a Neoplatonic sort of way, the, rise and fall of nations and stuff like that. I guess you can say that it's basically just inevitable almost, and basically you could point to any sort of event going on in time and basically draw some sort of similarities to moments in the Bible because of the fact that it is essentially based off of the rise and fall of uh, humanity. But I don't know, man. What's your take on the whole thing?
Which part? Like the actual Bible, or there's
Well,
a
just on the whole
lot to unpack there.
the whole
Go ahead.
I guess them trying to label the new MAGA or the MAGA uh, side as basically theocrats. What's your thoughts on that whole thing?
I think that's hilarious, man, because like I said earlier, it encompasses such a large portion of the population at this point that it has nothing to do with religious right or anything like that. I mean, we're here, we're pretty MAGA, and neither of us are religious. You know what I mean? Regardless, I mean, religious doesn't mean that you believe in whoop de woo. I mean, religious means what that because it's different from spiritual. So I mean, you're talking about, the Christian right. And I mean, that's the smaller fucking goddamn, portion, dude. Smaller percentage of the MAGA movement, man, is that party. So I think it's not theocratic. I think if anything, the left with them, like the government is more theocratic. You know what I mean? The way that they look at the state. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything is almost like a religious entity as far as it's all sanctity to kill babies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything is like a religious aspect with them. So to make the comparison is laughable, man. And we got old Gargling here wanting to get out. I don't know if that's possible, but this guy's hitting us up in the comments and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, Elon is the anti-John Connor," and he thought he made it up, but here we are spilling it, dude.
Yeah. Let me see if I could send him an invite. If restream, then I could definitely run in. But like I had kind of talked about before, when it comes to the my thoughts on where society and humanity is going to eventually go is essentially we're going to kind of shake off the old kind of theocratic dogma and stuff like that, and kind of go more toward a new, I guess, social science or something like that. Basically, we're going to come into a new eon where basically man becomes the idea of God. Where basically start to view ourselves as God of the world and stuff like that. And yeah, so like you're saying, that the left really does kind of view the state in a sort of a theocratic sort of way, in basically a kind of a I guess like the fucking the leaders of the church used to be back in the day and stuff like that. That's the way that they look to state power, where basically what they say they're fucking infallible, And I think that's where we're
Yeah,
going
but
to.
as far
As
I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think that's where we're going to eventually end up getting to, and I think we can it's going to really really kind of maybe I don't know, lead us into a completely like new sort of a techno future type thing, to where basically we're going to rely on technology and stuff like that rather than old wisdom. People aren't going to be as intelligent anymore because of the fact that they won't need to be, because you just look everything up right away. So you probably have a fucking AI buddy that you could just fucking I don't know, say whoever, and just fucking ask them a complex question. They'll be able to answer you back in a in a complex way or whatever, And I think we're just going to move toward that direction. Yeah, I'm pretty stoned, so I keep forgetting where I'm going with this, but yeah, I think we're definitely going to head toward a fucked up theocratic fucking not theocratic technocratic future. But let's see, we do got gargling glass in here. Let's see if I can get him on.
Can you hear me?
I don't.
I think with the Bible situation though, how you're like it was kind of a guidance tool for man. I think that to an extent, I think it's a lot of metaphors. I think originally it was meant to share sermons and historical situations, but after the later editions, after being edited, re-edited, translated, yada yada, it just became like most things that have to do with organized religion, and it was just a tool of control. You know what I mean? And as far as us moving away from theocracy, I think we always tend to replace it with something else, whether it's spoken or not. You know what I'm saying? I think man searches for fucking guidance, and most men, not all, but they want to be told what to do, even if they don't know it themselves. And so even if it's not like a Jesus or the state or Mohammed, we find something else to replace it with.
That's what that something is going to be the technologies that we creating and stuff like that. Artificial intelligence,
technocrats and shit.
Right?
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah. Yep. Coming through.
Okay. Oh, what you were talking about when I first messaged you, I was thinking of this thing is like, what is that called? Like when the nanites take over, it's the gray gray sludge or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, well, a nanite swarm. Like, just imagine nanites and AI team up together. And then you got this nanite swarm, and it creates this, like, gray sludge or some shit. There's a name for it. It's gray something. And, like, basically, it covers the whole thing because everything it touches, it turns into itself. And then next thing you know, you've basically got kind of a man-made bacteria that evolves into itself, and then I don't know, whatever you were talking about as far as like when I tuned in, I was thinking about that. That's what I thought about.
Right. Yeah, I think
Futurama moment there for a second, but yeah.
I think Futurama did an episode about something like that where Bender just ends up making like a billion different itty bitty versions of himself.
Right. I didn't watch that season, but yeah,
he ends up getting down to like the molecular level, and then he just starts turning all the water into alcohol.
Well, let's hope anyway.
Right.
So
no, we work in the sun. We need that water.
According to YouTube, right? You just got on like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. We just started a little bit ago, but we're actually on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Rumble today.
Oh, actually. You are on YouTube, huh?
Yep. Yeah, we're all over the place, man. We're worldwide, globally known,
wide.
So what's your take on the? Did you check out the Salon.com article? Basically, talking about how MAGA is MAGA theocrats are basically the biggest threat to America.
It's
right, we're members of Hamas.
I was going to ask how you guys feel about our new speaker.
My answer is
news.
I mean,
kind of what the fuck, really.
So far, he's a verbal head cracker, like a Trey Gowdy. But then we seen what happened to Trey, right? Right? He's a fucking turncoat now. And my thing, like Tucker fucking was furious about on the Twitter sphere there was the first thing he did was come in and talk about how we need to help fucking foreign countries.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Of course, he didn't use that wording. It was our allies, but that's what it boils down to.
With now I forgot his name. He's dead now. His political career is over, I guess. But who was it that was just like, oh yeah, that makes the committee guy? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Which committee? Jim Jordan?
Yeah. Like, what was wrong with that?
He supposedly fucking, he's a staunch ass conservative and he loves to crack heads, and he pissed off some of the establishment and they fucking refused to vote for him. There was a group of them that got together and were like, anyone but fucking Jim.
Is less conservative. The actual speaker now is less conservative than Jim Jordan.
Depends on which aspect.
It's not necessarily more conservative. He's more of a blend. He's been more of a blend in the background kind of fella. Did you know who the fuck he was before he was named speaker? Because I sure as hell didn't, right? And and he was actually on Trump's side the entire time. He's been a MAGA supporter. Now that he's speaker, videos are coming out of him out clowning outside of Pelosi's office and all kinds of shit, But putting on a show is great. Let's see if he actually conducts himself in a conservative way,
Yeah. I guess. It depends on what you like about conservatives, though, too.
Right.
Fiscal responsibility, fucking, morals, fucking, you know what I mean? Core American beliefs. And we're talking about the concept. I mean, if you take it as it is, that's a different ball game. We know we've had some, fake ass conservatives in this country for decades now. But what conservatism actually means, it's much different.
Get it. Yeah, that's why you guys were talking about the Salon article too. It directly correlates with it.
Yep,
he is the Christian nationalist, not even a Christian conservative. He's a nationalist,
right?
So,
and he's MAGA town.
Yeah.
MAGA town.
Well, I'm pretty sure neither one of you are a Christian nationalist, right?
Nationalist.
Right. I'm a nationalist.
Nationalist. Are you a Christian nationalist?
I mean, like I said, I believe Christianity is a very good moral framework for a society to go off of. I don't think that we should be an anti-Christian society. That's for sure. I don't think that we should be an entirely secular society. I think a lot of our government structure.
Nationalism is though.
Right. I believe our government structure and stuff like that, and a lot of our constitution, basically our philosophy of freedom is based off of Christian ideals and morality and stuff. So I do believe that in that sense we need to definitely stick to that sort of guidelines. But in the way of like a national religion or something like that, I obviously believe the same thing that the founders believed, that if you worship any way that you feel like, as long as it makes you a better person. And you're not obviously, as long as you're not fucking worshiping a God that says go fucking murder Jewish children and shit just because, then we're fine with it,
To me, it's morals and just against the deviance of current society. Like take it on a smaller scale, right? You see these fucking cats that don't fear the police in California and whatnot, and they're just clearing out shelves and CVS's, making sure they don't go over $900. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Right. Like you take God out of a society and there's no more fear for your eternal soul, and people tend to not give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. You take fucking consequences out of society too. Like what we see with all these Soros funded fucking woke DAs and shit that refuse to prosecute any sort of crime other than ones that they could fine you on and fucking get tickets.
That's what I was just saying. Like shit. That's where that's why you got these people stealing, because of those Soros cats that are, as long as whatever you steal is under 900, you're fucking golden, man.
Right. Right.
That's where they're coming for the kids, though, too. It's not just like the whole grooming thing that they want to just lean on or whatever, which is gross. Don't worry. But they're also going after them on social media to try to teach them the law is wrong, basically, and say this is actually how society should be. So just go out there and do that instead.
It's not even just on social media. Right. In schools, they're teaching them the wrong wording for the Constitution.
I was talking about the schools as well.
Right, and then not just laws; they're also teaching history, fucking incorrectly as well too. They're teaching
They were
that
doing that when we were kids. And
right. I mean, they've been doing that, for a while, and
But
it's
when we were kids, they were teaching you in a way that instilled American nationalism in you.
that's true.
So
right.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
wait,
not even. How can you
Right.
be
It was bad,
anti-propaganda
but it
if the
it
propaganda
like
strengthens your
the end means
civilization?
the end. Yeah.
right. Yep. The whole thing is the critical race theory type shit. That's the type of shit that really it's revisionist history. It's basically making it to where everything has been fucking, race wars since the dawn of time. Everything's been racially fucking fueled race wars ever since fucking, the fucking first, cave people started fucking working with tools and shit. It's been race wars. Like that's what they'll have you think and shit. And it's really driven a deep wedge in society.
I'll tell you what, Halloween always has a special place in my heart for one particular reason. Because whenever I celebrate Halloween, I always celebrate by watching horror movies from like 2000. I'll tell you what, watching horror movies in 2000, watching wrestling in 2000 and the Attitude Era, you realize that the year 2000 was the peak of Western civilization, period. We had not been back there since,
Do
I
you
and
think it?
disagree,
never
man.
will be.
Do you think it
What?
was the peak, or do you think it was just a high moment followed by a downturn? Which
Oh,
is
well, it's been the peak so far, I will say,
I
because then
disagree. I think the
immediately
2000s are the
after
ass
that, we
end of the
have.
90s.
I'm not trying to black pill here. I'm not trying to black pill here. It's like, yeah, 90s were fun. 2000 was awesome. Then we've got 9/11. Government does all their shenanigans, Patriot Act and all of that. Only just got out of that not too long ago. That seemed to go really well, didn't it? Probably
right.
doesn't have anything to do with what's going on right now, right? I
I
wouldn't
sure
think.
We're,
feel a
we're,
lot
we're,
safer.
we're not out
Well,
of that period. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
they've
Like when
continued it in every way.
it's
I mean, through
now
social
too.
media, mass
Right.
surveillance. You
They
know what
just
I'm
found.
saying?
They just
So
found.
that's just what I felt. Is just like, yeah, 2000 was the peak of Western
Right.
civilization. Let's get back there. You said something, Brian, about this wedge that's been put in. Like, do you remember 2000? It's like racism just wasn't a thing. And
Well,
like, sorry, but I hung
well,
out
in
in Detroit with black people in 2000, and we were fine. I
uh,
don't know
to be
what's
honest,
going
in
on now.
2000, I was 10, so
Oh,
I
okay,
wasn't doing
well,
too much, but and that is one thing, man. I did not get to live through any of the fucking good periods and shit. I became an adult in 2008, so there's that.
oh,
Yeah. During the entire Trump years, I was in prison. So
oh,
I got out right at the start of COVID, pretty much. Yeah, I got.
wow.
I haven't really
That's a
lived
hat
through
trick,
too many
dude.
good times, to be honest.
That was the hat trick right there.
Yeah,
Well, I can
Sorry.
tell you guys, as the grandpa in this crowd, man, fucking in the 1990s, you could take $20 and fucking feed you and your lady and your two kids, bro. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like legit $20.
In the
And I never thought that I would be that dude saying that. And I'm telling you, 2000 was literally the ass end of the 90s. The 90s, we
Yeah,
were the world superpower. I mean, you could rent an apartment for 300 fucking dollars a month. I mean, I could just keep going, man. Like it was, totally different planet at that time.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean? People weren't
2000
offended by
before
shit.
9/11. I mean,
shit,
before 9/11. So in
Right?
2000, that was the peak.
in the '90s, my dad was
2000
able
was
to
the
raise
ass
four
end.
kids by himself on a fucking a stock room fucking manager at Food City fucking salary. Like that's what the '90s was. My dad was able to raise four kids by himself, working at the fucking stock room at Food City. It's like, yeah, big fucking difference in today.
Yeah, I fucking had raised kids and kept them in the suburbs and made $10 an hour, man.
Right. Yeah, not it's shit. Not even a fucking thought of that in these times.
Right?
Yeah,
So
but
what you got on the docket tonight? Was that it?
oh no, definitely not, man. Fucking, we're actually about to head
Yeah, it's
on
a
over
wrap.
into
We're
right.
out of here.
Oh,
That's it. All right.
bye.
Yeah. I know you want to go to bed already, man, but we're just getting started. So let's talk election 2024. Fucking the primary for the Republican Party to be specific. So Mike Pence has dropped out, or he dropped out earlier in the week. What was it, like Monday or Tuesday, something like that? It's a weekly show, so we pretty much wrap up the entire week. But yeah, Mike Pence has dropped out, and obviously I'm sure everyone else is just going to start falling in time. It's become very, very clear that the presidential nomination for the Republican Party is going to be none other than Donald J. Trump's, right? Right. Everybody start
MAGA
panicking.
town.
Right. I bet you anything that he's going to weaponize the DOJ against his political opponents. He's probably going to start World War III. He's probably going to fucking, declare himself president for life. I bet you it's going to be terrible, you guys.
I hope he ends
Inflation's going to be up, dude.
Right.
Unemployment's going to go up. They're going to revise fucking job fucking reports from previous months.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely fucking the most corruption we've ever seen. Right. But yeah, so obviously, fucking Trump's going to end up being the nomination in the Republican Party if, of course, things go well, and he's obviously able to be put on the ballot. But as we've already said before, even if he's not on the ballot, at that point, I don't give a fuck who the fuck becomes president. I'm writing the dude in. At that point,
I think he would have enough write-ins to whoever's on the ballot. He would ruin it for him. Simple as that.
Right. But then again, at the same time, that could end up resulting in fucking Joe Biden round 2.
That, and not only that, but also the RFK thing being independent could result in the opposite that too.
No, it's not.
Either one.
JFK is a fucking dick knob. And dude, if you support MAGA and you even consider voting RFK, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? Those are two totally different platforms.
People. Right. Left-leaning people could do the same thing to Biden, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, at the same time, they're a much more cohesive unit because of the fact that all of their voters simply vote on what the fucking most recent celebrity fucking says to vote for. They don't actually look into policy or anything. But so I mean, it's a much more distinct divide, I guess, on the right, and the left is just kind of a disorganized right now, to say, to put it lightly, I guess. So
it seems to me that everybody's MAGA and they're done with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, those that actually give a shit are fucking MAGA. Everyone out there.
How can you say that?
MAGA,
you hang out on the Twitter spheres.
But I mean, yeah, MAGA is still a small minority within, actual fucking people that actually have power within politics. It's a small majority of Congress members. It's it's an even smaller fucking minority in the Senate. MAGA's it's still an idea, but it's taken off. It's still in its early stages, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know how you could ever think that everyone's MAGA though when you go on Twitter, man. Like people I don't even follow. I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting notifications from motherfuckers I don't even follow, and it's fools on there roasting Trumps and the fucking legal team. You know what I mean?
Like most of the never Trumpers on Twitter are all just paid for. Like things like
I mean, even the DeSantis crew
against Trump, for example, that's one account that it's just paid for.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Lincoln Project, there's the obvious ones, but like I said, the DeSantis crew, bro, you see them going in complete meltdown over high heel shoes and fucking like they're cheering on
it's
the
still funny.
destruction
It's
of
not a
fucking the
meltdown.
Republic.
It's fucking hilarious.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're melting down. I'm not saying, to me it's fucking hilarious. You know what I mean?
Right,
but to the DeSantis crew, that's fucking. I mean, they're fucking delusional and psychotic.
Who are they melting down at, dude? They fucking destroyed their own campaign. Whoever the fuck told DeSantis to put on those fucking shoes, they fucking ruined that dude's fucking political career. Like, that dude fucking destroyed DeSantis' campaign. I mean, not that DeSantis' campaign was doing very well in the first place, Obviously,
I mean, he started at 30%, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he was viable, dude.
For him.
Right.
That's the thing. It's just like they wanted him because they liked the idea of Florida.
They really didn't, though. They wanted Trump.
He ran with it
right.
in the wrong direction.
That's what I was gonna say. He never had a chance because of the fact that Trump was in the running too. If Trump's in the running, he's gonna fucking take it. Like if Trump's
Right.
in the running,
That guy listens to
you've
some
become the enemy
donors.
now. You know, like yeah. He basically everyone fucking was saying that oh fucking DeSantis fucking be vice president for fucking Trump and then 2028 that's your year, not anymore. 2028 shit is not going to happen for DeSantis, like that ship is sailed, and all he had to do was run fucking Florida. Just fucking run Florida, fucking endorse Trump, and then fucking 2028 you're a shoo-in, a shoo-in.
Gotcha.
Fucking
there's some big ass shoes, man.
Who do you want to come in then? Who do you want to be running mate? Who would you like to see running mate? And like who would you like prefer to, I guess?
Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
I'd like to see fucking Trump Ramaswamy take it.
I'm starting to think Ramaswamy's a plant. And
yeah.
He's just there to disrupt. I think he's MAGA. He's pro-Trump, but I think he's just there to throw shit off, right? But I'd like to see I'd like to see someone that offsets him, like a Vivek, right? Someone that's there to be the more articulate one, man. But of course, you want politics, you see it as you want it rather than how it is, because in an ideal world it would be like a Rand Paul, or, you know what I mean? Or like a Byron Donalds, someone with a finance background, you know what I mean? A doctorate, something like that can really break shit down. But, realistic terms, I'd rather see like a chick, man, like a Kristi Noem.
Okay. I thought one of you would say Kristi Noem, but yeah, never mind. Yeah, that too. But I want to say a Tulsi. Tell you the truth, just for
she's anti-gun and shit, man.
Yeah.
She went back on that shit. She went back.
She said you can't listen to someone that flip flops like that.
Right.
And then
I was just about to say, well then she's a fucking flip flopper.
I was talking about
she adjusted her ground game to get your vote, and you fell for it.
First of all, I was talking about electability. Electability, I think, is the greatest optics, because we were talking about your Arizona girl there. You said Kristi Noem, and I forgot this girl's name. Your Arizona girl.
You're thinking of Carrie Lake, and she's running for Senate, and that's where we need her is in the Senate.
You guys said just like, oh, I'd like to see that as press secretary. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking, is just like optics. Is first of all, like, yeah, she flip-flopped on guns, but she flip-flopped on her whole party too.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. That's no standards,
leftists,
man.
You got to start looking at leftists that you're willing to actually listen to or whatever, and they love
none of them.
Well, look at like the like the Jimmy Dore crowd. It's just like, okay, I get it. They just fall for it, and I think Jimmy Dore is probably voting for Trump anyway, to tell you the truth. But that's what I'm thinking. I
think he'll vote for Cornel West.
Well, if he writes it in, I guess.
Cornell's there. He's there, man. I mean, he's
I mean, you also got to think too. It's not making as much waves and everything, but the Democrats are working just as hard to keep fucking the No Labels Party off of the ballot, just as much as they're trying to keep Trump off the ballot as well.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just not as big a headlines though, but they are working diligently to make sure that the No Labels Party does not make it onto the ballot as well.
Too. The Democrats, the left-wing party has more like independent candidates available because they don't want a primary. So they don't want to do generals.
It's because the DNC, they're not down for that. They just changed the rules, man. Like they just did RFK. The reason he went independent, because they told him you stepped into
and now they got another
one of these first caucus states, and we're going to automatically move the votes to Biden.
Yeah. It's just like it couldn't be more set up. If you got court cases trying to take one person straight out of the race, and then you've got another case where just nobody can even run against him, what is that? What is that, really?
It's bananas.
Well, we're just Nazis saying it's bad. That's all.
Yep. Like it's banana republics, man. It's about where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'd like to say don't banana my republic, but it's there,
Yeah,
man.
well,
It's fucking there.
it's
Yeah.
not khaki season up here in Michigan right now, anyway. So
Hmm.
keep your
It's
banana
always khaki
republic out
season
of
here.
here. Yeah, you blend in so the snakes don't bite you.
Yeah. But
Sounds grievous.
all right, so we got fucking Colorado fucking making the push to go ahead and get Trump taken off the ballot, and it's being fought right now. But a lot of what's being speculated is that it's going to happen in another state, and then another state, and another state, and another state, and then it's just going to eventually get to the point where it's just it's lawfare. They're just going to keep it held up all the way up until the point of election season, and basically they're just going to fuck them out of it. They're not worried about lawsuits. They'll fucking take 1,000,000 lawsuits as long as they get their way. I don't know. What do you guys think of the whole fucking thing? I mean, obviously, if they are successful in getting Trump removed from the ballot, it's going to set legal precedent, and other states are going to follow in suit. Uh, and yeah, it's like you said, it's going to devolve into the point of a banana republic, like legit, where it's, states are going to have one fucking person on the ballot, and it's we're not going to have anything that even resembles a fucking legit election, ever again at that point. What's your guys' thoughts on the whole Colorado thing?
Well, I think the precedent has previously been set. Apparently, it's already been said by several judges. State legislatures don't have the ability or the authority to dictate who's on a federal ballot. But just like in true Democrat fucking Soros funded fashion, they push forward anyway through the state. And this right here is where I told, like we were talking in a previous episode about using your freedoms against you. I mean, Soros is a fucking foreign entity. The dude's funding political movements here that's destroying the fucking, like Elon said, the fabric of fucking civilization. And we're just letting it happen. That's the shittiest thing. And I think January 6th did exactly what they meant it to do, which was put just enough fear into everyday working Americans to not even attempt to fucking put up a fight in defense of not just Trump, but fucking freedom as a whole without the fear of fucking being put in solitary confinement for fucking years and possibly getting decades in prison just for hanging out outside of a building.
Right? You see, they just put another one of the January 6th protesters in prison for 7 years for grabbing one of the police officers' gas masks on his face. Meanwhile, you got the rioters over and fucking all over the fucking BLM riots and shit, burning police cars down and shit, burning police precincts to the ground. Fucking multiple people murdered and not a damn thing. They're looked at as fucking heroes, freedom fighters.
Most of them, yeah, if they were arrested, they were fucking bailed out by fucking celebrities and the vice president, and then given settlement checks, of course, taxpayer funded from the fucking state, man. So it's good times all around, man. It's like Dan said, it's not a double standard. It's a single standard, and that's fucking they can do what they want, and you can't do shit.
Yep.
Hey Brian, what did you ask before Swine went on a tangent about Soros? What was the story that you were talking about?
The January 6th protester that got 7 years for pulling a police officer's face mask during the riots.
No, before that, even.
It's about the Soros-funded fucking DA trying to remove Trump from the ballot in Colorado.
Oh, right. And
the judge there is also a donor to an entity that specializes in removing Trump reports.
How is that not going to be thrown out? Like, that's right there. That's what I wonder is, like, you can say how bad it is. Like, the question is like, what's going to happen then with that? Where is it going?
It's going up the chain and up the chain, then up the chain, and then it's probably going to end up getting shot down in the Supreme Court, and then the next state's going to do it, and it's going to go up the chain, up the chain, up the chain, and it's going to be a continuous fucking lawfare attack.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, obviously, is even if they don't succeed, like Brian was just saying, to keep it tied up until the election, so that way, once they get bidden in, and then later the Supreme Court can say, well, Trump, that's not legal. He should have been on the ballot. By then, it's too late.
Oh,
It's
those would
not
be
like
like,
they're gonna
oh, he
fucking
lost
restart
again.
the
He's
election.
such a loser.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, the judge is a straight up leftist activist that donated to an entity there in Colorado that they through legal fare are trying to remove Trump supporters from different state fucking legislatures and whatnot because they support an insurrectionist.
Right. I'm so sick of that fucking word.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be kidding me.
Just like everything, Nazi. Yeah, just like
Ashley
Nazi,
Babbitt, say your
racist
name.
Hitler, they're gonna play it out until it has no meaning left, man.
Right.
Yep.
You see that Pakistani senator from Palestine, senator from Palestine posted a picture of Hitler on Twitter and said, "Now we know why he did what he did."
No, I didn't see that, man. I don't
That
know
happened.
of any senator from Palestine except for your representatives there in Michigan, Bobby.
Count Dacula. He posted a story about it too. It's yeah.
I mean the Nazis and the fucking slums go back, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was their kind of their thing, right? I mean, they kind of always understood, it's not like fucking
Well, he got banned from X at least, I guess you could say that, but still, I mean, like, I don't care. So
right, and that's
I made a mean post on Twitter. I shouldn't say it on here.
it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit, man? It's fucking screw tubes.
Weren't you banned? I've
been banned a couple times.
Oh, okay. No, I just said it's just like, I don't care. I wish they could just live in this place together and get along. Like, wouldn't that be cool? It's only been like how many thousands of years, right? No, it's like, if not, then wouldn't it be cool if the whole place was just a mirror big enough that you could wave to yourself from the moon?
No, what I think would be cool if we just stop funding it and we just kind of let what happens. I think fucking that would probably be the coolest fucking thing that could happen out of all of it. Yeah. Like we're funding both fucking sides, and then fucking over here like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Stop sending them fucking money. Simple. Stop sending them money.
We'll run out of bombs eventually if we stop making them.
Right. And that just goes to the whole fucking the whole military industrial fucking donor class, all the the whole fucking donor class fucking American oligarchy conspiracy thing. Just they want this. They don't want to avert any of this. The same thing that went down in fucking Ukraine and shit. They didn't want fucking peace talks. They didn't want Russia and Ukraine to come down to the fucking negotiation tables and and strike a deal. They didn't want that shit to happen. They wanted the money to keep on rolling. They wanted the crisis to fucking continue because crisis creates fucking faith in government, or fucking people looking to government to solve the crisis. And wartime obviously brings fucking voters, and so they don't want none of this shit.
Creates in my head, it popped opportunity.
Right.
Opportunity.
Yep.
That's what it is.
They forgot about Ukraine real quick too.
Yeah, Ukraine's a fucking thing of the past, when in reality it should have been a long time ago. Really, we fucked that place up worse than
we needed
Russia
a war
did.
to like tide us over or something.
Yeah.
No, it's Biden's that he's part of the machine, and of course, wartime presidents tend to get reelected, and he's got to line a bunch of donors' pockets real quick either way because he owes some fucking favors for being in that seat. You know what I mean? So before he either gets kicked out or kicks the bucket or whichever way it goes, he's got to do some paybacks real quick. And of course, we know with the new AI fucking shit that he just signed, the executive order, it's come to light that apparently Obama's fucking is the one that wrote it, right? So and that's like an admitted situation. So, this is just Obama's third term, dude. And which way were we going, right? We were going red lines and fucking World War III, right? And they just picked up
Yeah,
right
he
where dude
ran
left
out of
off,
bombs.
man. He
Do you
ran out
think
of time.
do you think Obama has a cult of personality in a similar way that Trump does? Like still, to this day?
Yeah,
I,
he's fucking Black
Not
Jesus
as
in the
much.
Democrat circles, man.
right.
For real.
I think he's probably fucking grown in popularity a lot more, since he's been out of office, since
I don't
fucking
Yeah, I
think he's
mean,
as big as Trump, though.
I think it's only the extreme
Pro-
leftists that don't dig him. Like a Jimmy Dore, for instance, he sees him for what he is. This dude bombed fucking 9 countries and yada yada. But for your average normie fucking Democrat, that dude is Black Jesus.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
and that's that. Like I said, multiple times already. That's the problem with the Democrats is their voters aren't necessarily people that actually sit and fucking think about politics and doesn't actually look over history and doesn't actually read or fucking actually read articles or anything like that. They're the type of people that just do whatever the fucking whatever celebrities they happen to follow says is the right thing to do. And obviously fucking celebrities are bought and paid for like that. Shit, you don't even have to pay them, just fucking give them a
They're
fucking
also all
put them in
retarded.
front of a camera and they'll do whatever the fuck you want. Like
Also, in between searching the Inner Zones archives to find things to be retro offended about and shit. I
right.
mean, fucking complete fucking morons, man. Really.
Yeah.
And I went through this, right? They complain about fucking not being able to afford shit while the economy is fucked up. I give them that. You know what I mean? They spend more time trying to find shit to be sad about, dude, than fucking trying to put in work. I know when I
Yeah.
was 20, I could work 20 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fucking, all fucking nihilists, man. It's just a bunch of pure nihilism over there, on the left hand side. It's just people that don't have a fucking purpose. And it's
It's the same with fucking the Muslims, like we're just talking about. It's a fucking death cult, man, and that's where the religious aspect comes in, and that's where the dumb educated and the bell curve dictated low IQs get together, bro, for one big fucking weird club.
right.
You know what I mean? I'm fucking glad I'm not in it, bro.
Yeah. Fucking, what do you think's worse for the world? Fucking Islams or fucking Democrats?
Fuck, dude. I think
Honestly,
that
Democrats, I think.
yeah, that's what I was gonna
think
say too.
Democrats. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
this conflict between Israel and Palestine, I mean, I couldn't care less. Like, I'm not 3,000 years old, so I haven't seen it all. And like, I don't understand how we just drop the ball on this new toy we have. That's just, this war here is just like, this war is not fun anymore. It was just a standby. Here, let's now do this, and let's definitively choose a side in this very potentially devastating conflict that could reach out in all these different branches through different directions, like through Iran and China, for example, right back to Russia, working with Saudi Arabia. And like, why are we just like, yep, we are already sending hundreds of billions of dollars here, but now we're going to do this here instead. I know you guys are sick of that, so we're going to do this one instead. You happy? No. The answer is no. And that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. I just had to rant for a second.
Well,
Fucking
Israel created Hamas, but that's a
Yeah,
whole
I
nother
mean,
fucking-
we created all of them, I guess, too, in a way. Not Israel though. They're still trying their best. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done. I just had to rant for a second.
I don't know if I honestly think the Democrats are probably worse for society, and it's really just because I think it's their complete lack of intelligence. And Right. So I used to actually say that, the Democrats, the people in charge of the fucking Democrats and shit are actually pretty damn smart. I'm starting to think less and less of that. I just think that they're backed by very powerful people. And I think that they're just fucking stooges that fucking try to do everything they can to fucking to get around that pesky fucking Bill of Rights that, these people have, and, get around that Constitution and shit. So that way they can, provide more fucking power for, government, or whoever's donating to government. And I just think that they're willful idiots. I think all of them, all the fucking down to the fucking the heads of it. I think they're all just a bunch of fucking willful fucking idiots and shit that are just fucking easily bought and paid for by people who money means nothing to. And I think that's why I believe they are more dangerous than fucking, some just religious fucking extremist fundamentalist fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
At least you know what their fucking agenda is, and so you just have to fucking defend yourself, fucking kill them before they kill you, or whatever. Fill in solution here, But with the Democrats and stuff, you don't ever fucking know what the fuck they're going to be doing next, because, well, other than the fact of grabbing for more power, but you don't ever know in which direction. And again, they're protected by the media, and they have people in high fucking places that money is no object to them. They could fucking buy fucking countries if they want, That's why I think they're more dangerous.
Yeah, I think they're more dangerous because they're absolutely more subversive. Like we were just talking, I mean, down to fucking elementary school kids, they're trying to fucking program, right? And I think that the Muslim extremists, bro, if you weren't importing them in abundance into your countries, and you just left them the fuck alone to run their countries how they see fit, that in reality you wouldn't have any issue. You know what I mean? Like they would just deal with themselves, and that would be it, like they've done for thousands of years. And of course, with the Democrats, everything is aimed at being for the good or for the children's, or it's got a rainbow flag on it. But I mean, death is like death,
right?
That's what they spread.
There's a question I want to ask you, Swine, personally. Like, you're from up here, and like you've been down to Detroit, spent plenty of time there, right? And like about Dearborn and their population there, right? Like in recent years, like especially since COVID and all the weird troon shit and everything, like the Muslim parents down there have come out as to be like the logical conservative voice in these schools that have been down
they're not,
there.
man. They're just against gays, bro.
Well, that's fine.
Again, the enemy of my enemy is not my fucking friend, bro. Like I feel like I gotta repeat that line on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like those same people would just as soon cut your head off, bro. And if you go down there yourself, you go into their stores and they literally have black cans next to the registers with the Al Qaeda fucking flag like hand painted on them, where you can donate directly. There's been businesses in Dearborn that were shut down where the entire staffs were deported because they're funding terroristic activities, like from Lashish restaurants and whatnot in other countries, man. You know what I mean? Like, we're dealing with fucking savages.
That's why I asked you. I knew you were down there. That's why I asked you.
Right. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? And like we hear this, we hear this argument like pretty regularly about the Arabs, about how
asking you. I knew you were down there.
Right, and I'm telling you, you know what I mean. And like when I was there, I worked for HUD for years, so I mean, I got to clean up after everybody. And man, it's they're pretty gross, bro. Pretty gross.
Oh God. I was just trying to be cordial, but all right.
Fucking houses smell like onions and curry, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking we're starting to get a growing Palestinian support fucking out here in Tucson actually too. Fucking we had a bunch of Palestinian fucking supporters out there protesting in front of Raytheon the other day. Fucking
that's interesting.
Right. Fucking I mean, Yeah, I get the their whole cause and shit like that. It's like, dude, like fucking protest the government. I mean, Raytheon, they're just fucking making money and shit. The government's the one fucking paying Raytheon to fucking send them out there. Like, they're just a fucking company that,
Raytheon's paying the government to pay them back, and that's
right,
it's a
Raytheon's
weird
just doing
circle
what
jerk.
America should be doing in this situation, right? Like you
Right.
say, like, well, Israel's our ally. All right, we'll sell them some fucking weapons. You know
Right.
what I mean? Don't break the bank to fucking pay for the weapons yourself. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And then you get these people like the bleeding heart. Well, you gotta help whoop-de-woo. Man, let me tell you something. If your bank account is minus $200, I'm not gonna borrow 300 to give to you for fucking dinner for the next 2 weeks, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think about it in a smaller scale, and hopefully the illogical aspect will dawn on you. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, War Dogs is one of my favorite movies because I want to be an arms dealer, but I'm not gonna get that from this channel.
Open a
You're
pawn
like,
shop, bro.
Yeah.
Shit.
damn
Actually,
international laws.
actually, if the Democrats have their way, if you ever want to sell a gun, you're gonna have to register as an arms dealer, even if you want to fucking just sell it to your fucking your cousin or your child, or if you want to hand it down to your kid, you got to fucking register as a
Yeah,
FFL dealer.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. That's obviously fucking ridiculous, but yeah, either way, they're trying to fucking do that. It's just to speak on that for a second, all it's really going to do is basically make it to where if they find a gun that you own in somebody else's possession, and basically you try to say like, oh, I sold it to them, then they can just say, oh, well, did you register? Did you guys go down and get the FFL check for the guy? Like, oh, nope. Well, then you're under arrest too. Like, that's basically all that they're going to try and do.
It kind of works like that here right now. It's just like you do have to like pass the slip back and forth and everything. It's got to go through the sheriff, even just like person to person sales.
That's ridiculous.
I've never had a piece of paper for any firearm I've ever owned, man.
Right. And technically, fucking the what the fuck is it? The Gun Owners Rights Act, I believe it's called, of like 1984 or something like that. Actually, basically, made it law that fucking the government can't keep registries of who owns guns like that. Like, technically the FFL forms, the 4473s, those should not exist. Like, that should not be a thing,
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
It's like registry and shit.
Well, none of it's supposed to be a thing anyway. So,
well, I mean, based off of recent law, I mean, they've been undermining the Second Amendment since the Second Amendment's been a thing, but I mean, just in, fucking, like I said, this, back in the 1980s and stuff, that this act went into place, where basically it barred the federal government from making any sort of gun registry at all.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I lost the paper in the lake. I didn't lose the gun in the lake, but the paper's in the lake anyway. So.
Right.
No, I went swimming with it, and it was like in my wallet in the trunks, and it kind of just dissolved. So.
Yep. A lot of the fucking I mean, like I say, we've gone so far from where the fuck America was originally intended to be. Just the fact that you have to register a car, that's fucking completely fucking ridiculous. The fact that
it is, but like a lot of people say something about the founding fathers, just like that's not what they expected the Second Amendment to mean. You know the argument.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw that one out because it doesn't matter. Their argument was true. Whatever is, equal force, basically. So let's skip ahead to everything else, though. No, the founding fathers could not have even imagined the world that we live in now. Like, with what we have going on between technology and communication and transportation and architecture and basically the entire country, the world that we've lived in now. So like when they talk about the Second Amendment, oh well, regulated and blah blah blah, and you're making up your stupid little turn of phrases. You want to go from what they understood as arms to defend yourself against those people that have turned the world into this, which is not what they saw at all. How could they possibly see the world the way it is now with us having this conversation right now? How could that even be possible? So what do you do with that? And then you've got a president who wants to make executive orders over artificial intelligence. And where the fuck does that come from? How is that allowed? That's a thing now too, as of today. So where do we go from there?
Yeah. Well, in terms of where the founding fathers heads were at in terms of the Second Amendment, I mean that one's a fucking easy one.
Right.
Obviously they
What
just
I said,
fucking fought
it's
off.
like
They just fought
legal
off
salon.
the Royal Army and shit. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think after fighting off a fucking the Royal fucking British Army and shit, I don't think their first thought was, know what, we need to make our federal government have a fucking standing army as well. If America was never even intended to have a standing army. That's why there's a difference between the word militia and army. The militia is the people coming together to defend their fucking homes and shit, like
The
an
motherfucking Minutemen, dude.
right, exactly, fucking the
Yeah, I
militia,
wasn't talking about that.
right. But I'm just going to what the founding fathers intended. It's fucking and obviously well regulated basically just means fucking that they have what they need. That they have
Yeah,
access
and they didn't intend.
they need.
They didn't try to portray themselves as being able to see the future. They wrote something for the future, basically, regardless of what happens. This is what it's based off of. You know what I mean?
Said that too.
And-
Yeah, I
and-
said that too, specifically about the Second Amendment. Yes, that's what I believe about the
I
Second
say that
Amendment.
about every amendment. Like
I'm
that's the
talking,
first is
right.
the first.
I'm talking about
for a reason.
their envisionment of the country today is like all of those things like would have been unimaginable to begin with, like unimaginable.
But that's totally irrelevant, though. The point is they'd be like, "You guys are bitches," like you say, like you see all over the inner zones. They'd be stacking
I'm
bodies
not
a
relating
long
it to
time
the
ago,
Second
man.
Amendment at all.
You know what I mean? I'm relating it overall. That's an encompassing fucking statement.
How do you define the word freedom, Glass?
Just whatever you want to do, period, because I was a man who was born on this planet, and what man is going to tell me what I can and can't do?
Well, what if someone else goes by that logic, and then therefore they decide, well, what I want to do is
There's
take someone else's
compromises.
shit. Yeah,
There's compromises, or we wouldn't be talking on these mics right now, actually.
right. I forget who the quote's from, but I mean the it's a really good quote about freedom, and it's basically freedom is not the freedom to do whatever you want to do. Freedom is the freedom to do what you have to do, or to do what you need to do. It's basically it does. Being free doesn't mean that you get to do whatever the fuck that you want to do. It basically just means that you're free to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, essentially.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, if that impedes on anybody at all, then that's not freedom. But if you're impeding on somebody's freedom,
right? There's 3 different terms of freedom. Actually, I just looked this up the other day, and it's freedom from, freedom to, and freedom to be. And it's basically, obviously, freedom of would be freedom of persecution, freedom of society, basically, freedom, essentially, and then freedom to is obviously freedom to do this, freedom to do that, freedom to something. And then freedom to be is basically freedom to be who you are and stuff. And it's that's essentially the 3 pillars of freedom. And so that essentially as long as you're able to safeguard those, then that you're able to safeguard freedom. It does not encompass anything else. It's not freedom to survive. That's not a fucking it's your
as far as rights go, you don't have a freedom to survive.
Right.
It's not a privilege.
Right. Yeah. Down to like a lot of the most basic stuff. You don't have a right to food. You don't have a right to anything.
Right.
All you have a right to is freedom, and that's essentially what America was intended to be. It's really still to this day, something that has never been attempted really anywhere else in the world to the extent that the founding fathers intended America to be.
I'm
I'm a little more
still
liberal.
thinking about those other things I said though. It's just like it's gotten weird. That's all I'm saying. Like AI is weird to me. That was kind of my whole point. So, Swine, I'm sorry.
Like, I'm a little more liberal on the stance of what freedom is, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe that it is, to an extent, do what the fuck you want. Like I said, as long as you're not impeding on someone else's freedom, everything's fucking golden, man. You know? I mean, and but again, we've spoke on it kind of at length. Like, you know, that freedom needs guardrails. You know, and that's like when you're asking, Glass here, if well, what if someone else's freedom is what they want to do is to jack you or kill you or whatever, and that's where the guardrails come in, but also it has to do with even speech. Like I said, subversive shit, dude. You let that creep into civilization, and we're seeing the repercussions of it right now. You know what I mean? And so, even though you want freedom of speech, it's written for, like, the Constitution, for instance, even though it says all man was created, yada, it's written for Americans, man. And
Right.
that's where the whole, different things that you consider just platitudes at this point come into play, like the no political entanglements, you know what I'm saying? But free trade with all and shit like that. Again, the Constitution was written for us. It's supposed to dictate how, what our safeguards or whatnot, or core beliefs. You know what I mean? But we're not supposed to be politically mixing with other ideologies. It's supposed to be national pride. And if you're just doing the free trade and no political entanglements, you don't got time for the subversive shit, which is okay for me, in my view, to be censored to an extent, man.
Everything you just said, I loved. Just so you know.
So I think a lot of when it comes to like things like guardrails or certain specific laws and stuff like that, obviously things like murder and stuff like that should have repercussions, such as you being murdered back by the community, but when it comes to like
Witch
laws
burnings.
to
Yes, I get
basically
it.
protect society and stuff like that, I think that it's a kind of slippery slope, or kind of like a difficult balancing act. I personally think that basically kind of like the whole fucking Ron Paul um statement on abortion. It shouldn't be illegal. It should be unthinkable. Basically in a free society, things like like fucking murder and fucking just going and fucking raiding fucking stores as long as it's under $900. That's that type of stuff. It's not the type of thing that fucking we need to fucking make laws and all this and that type of shit. Fucking it should just be an unthinkable type thing. And at the same time, fucking it should be again like I say, a type of thing that basically the community fucking comes together. Basically, if we see people that look like they're fucking gonna be coming into this town and fucking shit up and raising hell and shit, I believe that the people should be able to form a vigilante mob and chase them the fuck out of their town.
Like, dude, but like the shit, like the soft on crime stuff that led to all that comes from the Marxist subversion that's been taking place. That we let be used. Again, freedom used against you. That's just freedom of speech, dude. And this is where it's gotten us, man. And it's from foreign entities. Obviously, the Marxism shit, you know what I mean, is a foreign idea. It's not America based. And then the person that's mostly been funding it, obviously, foreign entity, your Soroses and whatnot. And again, that's where those guardrails come in. If you cut that off, then it would be unthinkable. If it was just the idealism of Americana being put into your children's head, that wouldn't be an issue. It would be unthinkable. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's just a slippery slope in either direction? Like, I mean, eventually unabated or untouched freedom and stuff is eventually going to devolve into some sort of a social tyranny, and at the same time obviously government control over society is going to eventually evolve into authoritarianism. Do you think both of them are just equal slippery slopes, and societies are just doomed to rise and fall
I think it's
as
only as
they go
slippery
about their
as the
course?
citizenry. I think it's
I
only as
think
slippery
yes.
as the
I think the
citizenry,
answer
man.
is yes. To both questions, the answer is yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I
but I
said,
think that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously my position is usually I just think there's a gradual ebb and flow to society and culture and just human,
That's why
human
I say yes
civilization. Yeah.
to both. Yeah, that's why I say yes to both. Is like I mean, everybody's happy until they're not happy anymore, and then they're not happy and everything gets worse. So, yeah. The answer is yes, things will get better, and then they'll get worse, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but the question was whether or not it's more or less the same thing under a more free society or under a more controlled society.
That's what my answer was, yes to both. It's just like it doesn't matter. I think the same thing will happen either way.
Right.
I think it's
Eventually.
definitely more slippery under the controlled fucking environment because
Yes, and
mechanisms
it's
of
going to
control tend to
happen. That's
always
all I'm
vie for
saying.
more. You know what I
It's
mean?
going to happen.
And as far as the freedom shit, again, if there's guardrails and structure, and you know your laws are enforced and yada yada, again, that's still part of freedom. You have to have civilizational structure for it to be functioning and cohesive. So,
I
you know, I mean,
understand what
if
you're
you're
saying,
talking
Swine.
complete degenerative fucking liberty,
No,
as in like the libertarians
I'm
that you
talking
hear about,
long
like where they're
run.
like, you got to pay for your own security. Yeah, that's a slippery fucking slope.
No, I understand what you're saying, Swine. I'm talking long run. It doesn't matter. Both things are going to happen at some point in the long run. That's all I'm saying. It's like I'm not trying to be black pilled saying that. I was just answering the question.
Right. I'm just saying, if you hold it together, you could be a Rome. They say, you know, that you got all this always here.
Yeah, that's
Empires
right.
only last 200, 300 years.
Oh,
Rome
I
lasted
wasn't
for
even
fucking
talking about that.
2000.
I wasn't even
You know
talking
what I
about
mean?
that. I was talking
Dude,
2000.
I never said anything about you, son. Settle down there, Bobby.
Do you think Rome was just things moved a bit slower back at that time? Yeah, I mean, obviously, word traveled by horseback and shit rather
What
than
is
fucking.
this new meme where guys
But
just think about the Roman Empire every day? It's just like,
it's not necessarily the Roman
Because you're
Empire.
watching it in
You could
real
equate
time.
it, right, and at the same time, you could equate it to just about any other civilization that's existed throughout history.
it's true.
It's been rise and falls, throughout
No,
time.
I don't think we're in the. I don't think we're done yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're not done per se, but the way that things have been is definitely coming to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours is in fast forward. Again, if you look at the fall of Rome, they were opulent, they got lazy, fat. They
all right.
started letting foreigners replace their workers to be, you know, their everyday fucking workmen and their armies as well. And that's what ended them, man. And that would coupled with devaluing their fucking currency and being spread thin, trying to fucking fight wars on every front, man.
All right. Yeah.
So the answer to that question was, "This is the guy that meme is about."
It should be all fucking men, to be honest. Everyone should.
No,
I
I have thought about it a couple times. It's
I'm
kind of
actually.
weird.
Yeah,
I
I want
got
to.
called out by that meme and just like, wow, I didn't even realize it. But yeah,
Yeah, I want to make a shirt that just says fucking like normalize fucking talking about or normalize fucking conversation about politics and religion or some shit like that. Like I don't know why it's a taboo subject. Why those types of things are taboo subjects. Like really those should be the fucking.
I'm still waiting for my Liberty Bowl T-shirt. Actually,
All right, they're expensive. I made one. It was like fucking $65 or some shit like that.
oh god damn,
Let's mind it was
I'll look
one,
into
dude. The
something, I
fucking
guess.
Freddy Krueger, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I see you on there.
Yep. Mighty festive for the season.
Right. I
Right.
mean, like, shouldn't it be a turkey or something? I don't know.
One more to the horror collection. I got a fucking stack of them, son. Every Halloween, Walmart throws them out.
I'm wearing a Shining T-shirt, Overlook Hotel here with the maze.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
There, there's that one.
MAGA
Right.
town. MAGA
Right.
town.
Right. So we have a republic if we could keep it. Obviously we couldn't. So that goes and brings us into our next topic of revolution typically being a young man's game, and either or it's going to be the younger men that end up inheriting what ends up coming of the fall of Rome Part 2. So what do you think of the because obviously we're seeing a surge in more right wing, or not necessarily conservatism but more right wing in the younger crowd these days, and I think it's just going to continue growing as the system ends up collapsing you know. And so what do you think the next generation, may end up being? Because as we're seeing, they're not necessarily too liberty keen. They're more kind of a just authoritarian, right? Almost. They're more just kind of a, you know,
I've
just
seen
just
Christian
the
conservatives come out as like young.
yeah. Yeah. Or like fucking maybe they're the theocrats that fucking they're warning us about, they, do you think, what do you think of the next generation if they do end up taking a hard right shift, and end up, fucking sparking off some sort of revolution here in America? What do you think of the next generation?
Who's going?
Well, okay.
Don't all start at one time now.
Yeah, who's
No,
going, man?
exactly what I just said. I think like the younger ones, the more that I've seen on the internet, because I only meet so many young kids like out and about in town or whatever. But like I live in a a rural area for the most part, and these kids, they kind of like, it's just like a trend you see on the internet. They kind of gravitate more to this traditional Christian conservatism. And if they get pushed too far by the media and the government and everything, and because we're a flyover state, right? I don't think it'll be any better than it is now over the complete creeps that are running around through the streets now, like these fucking lickers, like it's Resident Evil 2. It's weird as fuck, but these kids might get just as weird. Just imagine a bunch of fucking Jonestowners walking around. Who knows? I don't know. They've gotten way more Christian conservative than I've seen in my entire life. I'm pushing 40. And that's just like from my observation. So I don't feel great about it. I want to keep the fucking Candaces off the fucking internet as much as I can. I mean, like, I ain't gonna censor a motherfucker, but I'm gonna tell her to shut the fuck up and tell kids to stop listening to her. All right, I'm done. I gotta step out for just a second. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, man. I think that revolution is not really a young man's game, man. I think that the young men fight it, but I
Right.
think that it's guys like us, like like the old Ron Paul fucking golden rule, man. If you like the spark of liberty in one mind, right? And so it takes those traditional teachings and values that ignites that spark, which usually comes from the older generation, and the younger generation being more idealistic rather than realistic. Like Saul Alinsky says, dude, he said something to the effect that the younger tend to see like the world as they want to see it rather than for what it is, man. And so you need that wise older mind in the background at minimum to station them kind of in reality and keep them focused, man. And I do agree though that it is the younger generation that inherits what comes next. And I don't know necessarily, about whether the younger generation's getting, becoming more Christian right. But even if they are, I personally don't see a problem with it because regardless of anyone's feelings towards organized religion or what have you, we both know that Judeo-Christian beliefs are kind of set in common sense morals and like just a personal fucking constitution. And as long as people begin to look at it in at least a slightly different way, as in it's their own personal relationship with God and shit, and it doesn't become like like a Muslim type of theocratic joint where they're cutting off hands for stealing, I'm all right with living in a moralistic fucking environment, man. But the thing is do we have a younger generation? Do you think that they're strong enough to fight that revolution? You know what I mean?
I'll be honest. I actually kind of think so. The younger generation is fucking nuts. Like they're I don't know, man. They're a lot more like I say, pissed off. They're the younger generation right now is coming into a society that's literally collapsing, and they're rightfully fucking pissed off about it. And so I think that the younger generation, I think they might have it in them to fight a fucking revolution. And that's why I think the establishment is so afraid of MAGA being able to speak. I don't think they want them to have, like you said, the
Guns.
the older people actually, leading them and giving them, the kind of mentoring them, giving them, direction, giving them, igniting the spark of freedom in them. They don't want that, and I think that's why, because I think they see that this younger generation is growing up in fucking turmoil and they're fucking pissed off, and they're starting to ask questions and figure out why, and that's why they want to try and silence people like us as quickly as possible, so they can't get those types of I guess thought leaders and stuff, to give them that sort of direction. But at the same time, one thing that I do worry about is the fact that they are kind of growing up in this generation that is kind of right now fucking, they don't want to basically kind of see the results of stuff. They don't want to kind of they kind of want quick solutions, much as the same way that the Democrats
gratification fucking
right
Everything is faster today. Yeah, instant gratification. That's what it's all about.
Right. So that's why I worry as to whether or not they're just going to end up devolving into a more, or not devolving, but basically evolving into a kind of more Christian conservative, but more authoritarian with it. But at the same time, that is kind of almost what we really kind of argue that the Republican Party is not enough of. They're always just fucking cucks. They stand on principle, and then they fucking compromise on those principles, and they just do it time and time again. So maybe we actually do need
to have decorums.
Right.
Well, that's where I'm confused, where the Christian conservative comes in, and it also comes into that article that we were talking about when I first got on tonight about the Salon article. They called them Christian nationalists. So that's kind of like a different thing. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, maybe than Christian conservative, which they're basically the same thing. Is they're using a new scarier word, essentially. However, is just in the last 3 years, is like, this is what I was saying before I stepped out. I'm sorry, Swine, I missed everything you said, but
good deal.
These young people, they're getting weirder by the day. That's what I'm saying.
And like I'm saying, it depends on what you consider weird. Going Christian right, I do not consider weird. I consider that returning to fucking more the roots of what made this country strong.
Talking like
and fucking
pilgrims. Like if I got a 20-year-old who wants to be a pilgrim,
there's nobody walking around acting like Puritans, man.
Right.
Right.
You'd be surprised, dude. You'd be surprised.
I probably would if that was the case.
Oh, you would.
But we're thousands of miles away, and I know where you're at. It's an alternation between a bar and a fucking church on every corner. So you may be getting a little bit more of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's why I'm saying it's going like. Well, I see a little bit of it on the internet, but like it like accentuated here because I've seen it with these young, like 20-year-old boys and shit, and they're
that's all right though. We need to appeal to them, man. Seriously,
they are just what
we need to appeal to them, man. We need that. We need to appeal to them, and we're kind of the counterculture, and we got to take advantage of that, man.
I try to set them straight. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's essentially what Swine's thoughts were. Is essentially that it's
like reach out to them.
Right. It's basically young men that are going to end up fighting the revolution, but they're going to be looking for mentorship.
Who I look for is the 20-year-old meme lords. Those are those motherfuckers. Those are my guys.
That's not who I want fighting fucking
right.
for the future of my country, man.
They're recruiters, what they are.
Right. But yeah, like I say, I think the younger generation is naturally just going to end up swinging in that direction, anyway, especially with all that we're seeing with the younger generation and their attacks on their fucking woke teachers, not necessarily attacks, but, the way that the left defines
they're
attacks,
standing up.
Right. Actually, telling them just, you're fucking, boys can be girls type shit is fucking stupid. They're essentially, speaking common sense to their teachers and shit, and they're, like you say, they're relentless, man. They're this younger generation, like we've been saying since the start of the show. Like, I think that the younger generation, that I think the youths are gonna be all right, man.
Well, time will tell.
They're crazy. That's what they're telling their teachers at this point, right? Especially like you don't know what's skits and what's not at this point. Everything's fucking AI or fucking just posted up, right? But dude, I've seen some pretty good clips even where teacher or parents are coming in during programs and whatnot and roasting teachers in front of the class and shit like that. But then I've also read that shit's not real. Like I said, you don't know what time it is. But
Right.
where the parent comes in, schooling the teacher in front of the class again, where she's explaining, genetically this isn't possible. You're lying to them. You're the crowd that says follow the science. Yeah, I mean, that's real.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's like I say all the time. It's one thing you don't mess with it, and that's fucking people's kids. Once you start, trying to go after their kids, you're gonna get some fucking angry parents, knocking down your door and shit.
You definitely don't know what's real anymore, though, and that's a thing. I mean, like, remember Swine? I showed you that gaming thing. It sounded like it was Ben Shapiro, right?
Right.
So
yeah, but I mean, as far as that kind of stuff goes, I mean, unless they're literally trying to act like their character and whatnot, it's kind of like that one. Even though it sounded like him, the shit he was saying was ridiculous. It's not Ben. You know what I mean?
But you never did. But imagine that 1 year ago.
Right. So, yeah.
It's crazy.
Or just imagine if he wasn't saying anything that outrageous and something that does sound kind of like
Ben
Shapiro.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Unless they're like in that character,
Right. Yeah, and that's
it did sound like something he said.
That's the worrisome thing about AI and all this type of shit. It's fucking a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now is obviously like, oh, like, okay, that looks super real, but it's obviously AI and shit like that. Right. And that's the thing is they're just putting out the shit that looks super real, fucking when they start fucking with it in subtle ways and shit like that, or fucking with stuff that is real, and then just fucking adding a couple words here and there that are AI generated and shit. That's when things are going to start getting really fucked up, And
they're doing it quickly. We're talking about like 1 year that this is like kind of exploded to the point that it is. I mean, just look at some of the pictures Swine had made just from typing a couple sentences. Exactly what he wants. Cool as fuck.
Yeah.
They can't do fingers or words, but
you can go check out C3P meme and fucking goddamn the United Spot, man, and you see some serious fucking talented use with AI, bro. That shit is great, man.
Or there was that video I posted about DeSantis like saying what he should say, this
right
great mistake, and I should have never done this. I'm totally ashamed, and
I'm endorsing Trump. Real. This is MAGA's towns. Yeah.
It just looked real too, and that was months ago. It's even better now, I'm sure.
Oh, fucking Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, dude, fucking Puss in Boots, bro.
Fucking DeSantis, man. Yeah, that shit's great. Yeah, dude.
He should have took the Ferragamos, bro. I mean, dude, he's on there fucking. I don't take gifts. Fuck, dude. You throw them Ferragamos in the ride, son.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shit. It's like a fucking $1,500 pair of shoes, bro. Hell yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, man.
Motherfucker, make him Nicky
I'll
like
accept
that.
Let's see.
Straight up Kermit, bro, huh?
Right. Kermit the Frog. Yep. Fucking all right, man. That's about all we got for tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. Anytime.
What are we using here? This is a Restream. Oh, you pay for that shit?
Yep. Yeah, I paid. Just got
Oh,
the
that's
paid
cool.
version of Restream
I
today.
just typed,
Actually,
I typed glass in because this motherfucker was fucking with me about my name. So
yeah, we
call
talk
me
about that quite
gargling and
often.
shit. It's like I'm not a fucking bird, okay?
Right.
I'll answer the glass.
Fucking gargling.
Gargling. I'm not a bird.
Right.
That's why I call you swine. That's the noun. Jesus Christ. You have no decorum whatsoever. You're despicable. Despicable.
Hell yeah.
Just don't forget to mind the balls, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go watch some more Josh Hawley, to tell you the truth. That's what I'm gonna do.
But,
Bitching
all
out
right.
Mayorkas.
All
I don't
right.
know how the fuck do I close out of this? Just hang up on me.
Oh, we're still live, man. We still have to do the sign up and everything. Just yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were just
All
like,
right.
yeah, that's great.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks. Fuck off. Nah, man.
No, no.
It's
I thought you were
ridiculous.
cutting it and like editing it and then like uploading it. I'm sorry.
How are people gonna know that they get? No, we're live, man. We're live on the air.
Hello, everybody.
All right. If I can, all what, like 8 people.
Well, there's 8 people.
All right, we're doing big things, man. We're doing big things these days. All right,
It was 2 last week. We're good.
right. Yeah, we're fucking moving on up, man. But anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by, especially you guys over there on Rumble. That's where we have the most people watching right now. Yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like this live stream. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys are not already subscribed. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell. We do go live every Friday night at 10 p.m. Arizona time. Arizona, if you don't know, is on a constant time frame. We don't do the whole daylight savings thing, which I know is coming up this weekend. So Arizona time, 10 p.m. Yeah, make sure you guys stop by. Don't forget to subscribe to the old Liberty Swine channel. He's also on all platforms as well. Subscribe to us on follow us on social medias. You know, our handles are all down here except the last one over there, old Gargling Glass. His is going to be at at Gargling Glass.
That gargling glass, but I'm not gargling at the moment.
Right, that's a different live stream. But all righty, man. Well, that being said, anybody got anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No.
Smells later, man.
All righty, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and